Good morning. I love this story. This is an oldie, but a goodie. I believe that all God's creatures were put here for a purpose. So, I've got a real problem with animal abuse. I don't understand it. I am about this close to becoming a vegetarian. I just got to figure out how to get all the proper nutrients. Take some homework. So, anyways, this is kind of about animals and their purpose. I knew one. And it wasn't just about, plowing fields and in war, which was all wonderful. I mean, the animals gave their lives, just like the people. But anyways, when I was about 7 years old, my father owned a scrapyard in Detroit, in a bad neighborhood. And he went to the animal shelter, and he said, I want your craziest, meanest, worst dog, wildest dog you've got, because he's got to protect my yard. And they said, well, yeah, here comes my beast. Hear it? That's from Sugar. They said, we've got one that we're putting to sleep because you don't want him. He's crazy. He said, that's the one I want. And this dog was just ravenous. He had been abused. They're not born bad. He was abused. And so now he was nuts. So my dad took him back to the yard, and he put him in a car, and he opened the wings, those little vents. We're talking 1971. Okay, I'm giving away my age, but I already did that, so. I was like 7, 8, something like that. Okay, I was born in 61, so I'm going to say this was 69. So he puts him in that car, and nobody can go near him, nobody can touch him. My dad thought, let me be the only one that feeds him, and then he'll get to know me. Well, my mom and I, we don't know any of this. We go up to the yard to see my dad, and I'm walking around in the business, in the building. Well, kids. I go back in the scrapyard, and I see this beautiful German Shepherd sitting in this car. Well, I have to go pet him. So I go back there, and like I said, the wings were open. And I put my hand in there. And he whimpered and wagged his tail and laid his head in my 7-year-old innocent hand. And I pet him and said, good doggy. Took my hand out and went back in. Said to my dad, I love that new dog you got. Can I have him? He said, what? Did you go near that car? I told him what happened, and he didn't believe me. He didn't believe me. He said, there is no way. I want to see you do it right now. So we went out there, and sure enough, now the dog was, Sugar, get out of here. The dog was out of control, wild nuts, and I'm like, Dad, really? He wasn't like that. So anyways, his name was Red. And Red did become a wonderful guard dog, and he was my dad's best buddy. And he got to know the family, the dog settled down. He was a wonderful dog. It was amazing. It was a miracle. Well, my dad sold the yard. And, Sugar, driving me nuts. So, go up a few years now. He sold the yard, and he gave the dog to my aunt. Aunt Annie. The one with the beautiful stuff in the cupboard that I show you in the basement. So, Aunt Annie lived on Moravian Drive. She lived in this big house with all this property. He was like in heaven, right? Well, my cousin was coming home from somewhere. It was dark, and she was walking. And all of a sudden, 2 guys came out of somewhere. I don't know if they got out of a car or if they came out of the woods and started chasing her. And from what they were saying, they were going to rape her. And she's running and crying and realizes nobody's going to save me. What am I going to do? And she remembers Red. Red is always out. Red's always in the woods scouting. She starts screaming Red's name. Red, help me, help me. Guess who came running out of the woods like a freight train? Ran past her and right towards those two men. And he ran and he chased them. And they took off. And then he did his proud circle, you know, back to my cousin. Now, I don't know if they were ever caught because it was so random. But, you know, just like people that seem hopeless and have no purpose and are out of control and are damaged goods, they just might have a purpose. So don't discard them and forget about them and act like they're too crazy to do any good in this world. So, how's that for a great story? That's Red. Never forget Red. Beautiful German Shepherd mix. And he was all red. And he had a purpose. Thank God. Just like we do. So, amen. Sorry for getting so emotional. But that was really something. So, if you got an animal, love it up. It's here for a reason. Just like you and me. Have a good day. God bless.